this Electronics and More video, we are going to unbox, assemble, and try out this reasonably priced, popular 6-axis quadcopter. The model shown here is a CX-20 Auto Pathfinder. This particular quadcopter receives very high buyer satisfaction ratings, has excellent range, auto return and autopilot using GPS, and you can mount your GoPro or SJ cam underneath. Operating frequency is 2.4 gigahertz. The quadcopter uses a lithium-ion battery pack, and the control unit uses 4 AA batteries. This unit was sent to me from Banggood.com, and I placed a link in the video description area if you are interested in this unit. Okay, let's get started unboxing. This is the manual. And comes with some tools. We'll take a closer look at those in a minute. This is the invoice. Over here is the battery. I'll take everything out, and then what I'll do is I'll come back showing an image of everything on the floor laid out without the boxes. And this right here I think is the camera support. It's a power adapter depending where you live in the world. Over here, that's the support for underneath the quadcopter. And this is a charger. The propellers. Okay, inside here we have that is the remote controller. And there is the actual quadcopter itself. Let me take that out of the box first. Take a look at it. Nicely packed. Let's take a closer look. Okay, it says important, read the owner's manual before use. Let's pull this off. This over here takes 4 AA batteries. Pop those in a minute. Now let's unbox the quadcopter. Okay, it's all unboxed. You can see the 4 motors. There. And take a look at that one. Battery slides in right there. These are the 2 antenna wires. Lighting. That to the side. We place the batteries inside the unit. Okay. Close-up of the motors. Very high RPM motors. You can expect 10 to 15 minutes of runtime before you have to swap out the battery or charge it. Okay, everything's unboxed. You have 4 propellers. You can see them lined up there. You have the power supply for the charging unit for the battery. You can see the connector ties into this part of the battery. That's a 2700 milliamp hour, 11.1 volt lithium polymer battery. You see the plug is designed for European. That's why you have the adapter to go to North American. There's the camera mount, and these are other parts for that mount. Over here you can see the two landing pads or the skids that have to be mounted underneath the quadcopter. Over here you have some tools for assembly. This little screwdriver. These pieces slide inside of the handle. And you have some nuts and bolts and other hardware. The entire quadcopter is not very big. Once the blades are installed, it's maybe 16 inches across, 16 inches square. If you notice the nut on top of the motors, these two are black and those two are silver. The reason for that is because the propellers are different. These two have the same propeller and the two black ones have the same propeller as well. Over here you can see the hole is wider on the two middle ones. That goes down over the top of the motor, and that part there that's smaller is on top. Let's turn this over. Alright, you can see there's two different types. Two of those, and two of those. Now I'm going to zoom in a little closer and start assembling the unit. To unscrew this one, because it's black, you turn it clockwise. Okay. Take notice of the prop. Inside here there's two little molded tips that stick out, and they're going to go on the flat side here and over here. Take the larger opening, position it like that, put the flat side here, flat side there, blade straight, and it should go straight down. Counterclockwise. And hold the blade, tighten it down, hold the base, tighten it, don't overdo it, you don't want to damage the prop, and that's good. It's as simple as that. With the unit turned upside down, you're going to take one of the skids, push it in position like that, and you're going to take the thumb screw, insert it, and tighten that down. Tighten securely, but do not over tighten. Okay. The other side has antenna wires. Let me turn that around and show you that side. If you look at the skid on this side, you're going to see a little notch there and a notch there. Make sure the antenna wires here and here go inside those notches, and then you're going to lay them inside the channel here. Once it's laid inside the channel, you can then take a small nylon tie and secure it to the skid. Okay. There you go. Take the thumb screw again. There is one extra. That side is nice. Okay. All nice and secure. Take that antenna wire, lay it right there. Pull tight. trim it off. And do the same on the opposite side. To install the mount for the GoPro or SJ cam, first thing you're going to do is take all the little rubber bushings, shock absorbing bushings. You're going to squeeze them and push them into one of the plates. You notice there's 4 holes. Put the wider end back. Now you're only going to be using 2. The reason why there's 4, if you'd like to push it all the way to there, you can do it. You can push it to there and screw it in to get the right balance. I'm going to be pushing it all the way forward to there and using those holes. Take the handle, push in the correct screwdriver that you're going to be using. Go straight down. Put that in. Make sure you secure that plate well. And that is not going anywhere. The next step, before you install the top plate, these 2 holes here are going to have to line up with the hole there and here. So you're going to take the nuts and bolts, screw that in securely, and then you can install this. Let me do that and I'll come right back. And this is what it looks like once the plate is mounted properly. You can see it dampens the vibration. And right here, you can mount the GoPro or SJ cam. The quadcopter is now fully assembled. The only thing remaining is inserting the battery into the compartment. Take notice the propellers, clockwise rotation. The blade is angled this way. As it rotates fast in that direction, it's going to be pushing air downward. This one here has a counterclockwise rotation, and it's going to be turning that way. The air will be going downward. This blade has a B on it, matching the silver top, and this one has an A, matching the black cap nut. Going to take the battery now, insert it inside the quadcopter, and close the door. Open the door right here, and we're going to slide the battery all the way down. Tuck that to the side. Place this flat on the ground again. Connect the wires together. That will power it up. Tuck the wires inside and close the door. Once the unit was powered up, you could see each one of the motors was being tested. This green LED right here indicates that 6 or more satellites with GPS have been linked to the unit. When the light is steady, you have the link with 6 or more. When the light is flashing, you do not have that link. The flashing red indicates the unit is locked off. Moving the controls on the transmitter will not allow anything to happen on the unit until you trigger this and make it into a steady state. When the LED is on steady, power will be able to be supplied to the quadcopter from the transmitter. The yellow LED is used for calibrating the compass as well as calibrating the flying control. When you first go to use this unit, more than likely it's not going to take off nice and level. It's going to lean to one side. So when you calibrate the flying control, which I'll explain in a minute, you're going to take off and try and get it as level as possible and have it hover. Once you do that on the calibration mode, it's going to lock in. Once it locks in, when you go to use the throttle and apply power, it's going to lift up level, unlike when you first did it when it was leaning and trying to flop over. You can see that this is steady now. We have a link with the satellites. Now we're going to take a closer look at the transmitter. The transmitter here you're looking at is available in a left-hand throttle or a right-hand throttle. This one is a left-hand throttle. Engine speed at the lowest would be down here where it's off. Faster and faster you push it forward. Over here are status indicating LEDs. The direction of the quadcopter is controlled with this lever here, as well as left and right on this one over here. Do not expect to fly this perfectly the first time. It does take practice. Over here is a piezo buzzer, your on-off switch. These are trimmers for fine-tuning the adjustments of the controls. These two knobs here, auxiliary 1 and 2, I leave at the 0 position. I checked in the manual and I do not see anywhere in the manual where it specifies what these controls are used for, other than when you go to calibrate the unit, you would use those. So I just leave those at the 0 position. Now the switches on the top, you have SWB, 0 and 1 positions, SWA, 0, 1, and 2 position. Over here, you can see where all the modes are shown for each switch. So when this is at the 0, that's for takeoff or GPS hold or return home it could be used. On this side here, if it's on 0, it's for takeoff. If you would like to do an altitude hold, you push this to 1, and over here would be brought down to 2. So you have 1 here and 2. If the unit is flying high enough and you would like it to return home using the GPS feature, push this to 2 and leave this on 0. And there's not much else to it. To unlock the unit, to be able to power up the motors, turn on the controller. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to bring this lever all the way down and all the way to the right corner. Keep looking until this is steady, the LED. Okay, you're good to go. So now when I push this lever forward, the propellers are going to come on. Check it out. Pretty neat. You want to shut it off and lock it. Right now you push the lever, left corner, and watch the LED start to blink. And now you cannot do anything. It's powered off. It's on a standby mode. It will stay this way until you unlock the unit again to fly it. The GPS indicator is steady because all satellites are being detected. There's 2 more things that are very important that you must do if you go to use the quadcopter and you're having a very hard time lifting it off the ground. It's flopping over. The first thing you're going to do is make sure the propellers are in the right spot. It's very easy to place them in the wrong spot by accident, so you're definitely going to want to double check that. Let me show you how to set the compass on the unit. The first thing you're going to do, make sure power is disconnected. Make sure this transmitter is turned off. As soon as you make this connection here, very quickly you're going to turn the unit on, pull this down, and push that to the right-hand corner. Okay, you can see you're in that mode where the LEDs are flashing back and forth. Move this to the side. While you're on this setting, you're going to pick up the quadcopter, you're going to hold it perfectly level, and then you're going to rotate it 3 to 5 times, place it back down on the ground. Go like this, all right? place it back down. Once that's completed, you're going to pick it up like this. Alright, hold it just like that. Rotate it vertically like that 3 to 5 times as well. A few extra times won't do anything. Right around. And you just place it flat on the ground. Then you're going to unplug power. Then you could power it back up and you're good to go. Close the door up. Calibrating the transmitter. Turn the power on. Make sure SWA and B are in the 0 position. Make sure auxiliary 1 and 2 are also pointing at 0. Move the lever around until you find the midway point where it beeps like this. Once it does that, turn the unit off. SWB you will put to the number 1 position. You're going to slide this button upward and power the unit on. There you go. You see all 3 indicators are on. Then you're going to go upward on both and make circles. Do it twice. Let it go back to the middle position. Rotate each one to the maximum and back to 0. Push this back to 0 on SWB. And you're good to go. Switch off. When you go to lift off the ground, more than likely it's going to be lopsided, it's going to flop over, and the props are going to hit into the ground. So what you're going to have to do is very, very carefully learn how to fly at level. Once you fly at level a few feet off the ground and you get the hang of it, then you can go into the calibration of flying mode. And what that will do is it will remember how to fly the quadcopter level. It is very important that you do this. If you do not perform this step, the quadcopter will be almost impossible to fly. So you definitely want to calibrate the flying of the quadcopter. After you unlock the quadcopter to fly it, if you don't touch the controls for so many seconds, as you can see, it locked back up. Now, in order to activate the calibration of flying mode, you would push the lever to the right. Alright? But you would keep pushing it to the right and hold it for 10 full seconds. I'm not going to do it because I have this calibrated very well and I don't want to screw up my calibration. But if you continue to hold this lever all the way to the lower right corner, once the light became steady and red, it would start to blink yellow. Once it's flashing in yellow, you'll be able to power up the quadcopter, get it flying. You're only going to have about 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds to get it flying level, and then this is automatically going to lock in that setting. So make sure you get it flying level, and then once it locks in, you will be good to go when you go to fly the quadcopter every time after that. Disconnecting the battery will not cause you to lose that setting. Here is a look at the inside of the transmitter. The side on the left with the battery compartment doesn't have too much. Let me put that to the side and zoom in on this one. Over here is the RF transmit and receive module connected to this antenna. The SWA and SWB switches are single pole, double throw. Auxiliary 1 and 2 are potentiometers. You have a couple of integrated circuits and another component which could be an RF component or a transistor or a MOSFET right here. On the rear side of the board, you have the 3 status indicating LEDs, several switches, as well as the power indicating LED. When this unit is low on batteries, what's going to happen, that LED, the single one by the switch, is going to start to blink. You're also going to hear a beeping sound coming from the piezo buzzer. The left and right controls both have 2 potentiometers. When it rotates up and down like this potentiometer, the value will change between the wiper and each side of the potentiometer. When this one's rotated left and right like this, that way, or this way, the value of this one will change the same way. You're now looking at the inside of the quadcopter with 1/2 of the housing removed. Each motor has its own control board. You can see all 4 of them lined up. Over here it says ZeroCom. This is the GPS receiver module, and it's mounted on top of the transmit and receive module for the transmitter, which is connected to the 2 antennas. Here you have the main control unit inside this little plastic project box, and it's secured to the main board. The lithium-ion battery is located underneath the board when you open the door. Let's take a closer look at one of the motors that's been partially disassembled. This part here with the magnets, you can see 14 of them. Neodymium magnets around the whole perimeter. And it slides right inside the core of the stator. Over here there's a bearing. You have one bearing on top. At the very bottom, the shaft is going to be sticking out, and you're going to have this little tiny E-clip holding it in place. Once you remove the E-clip, you can slide off the top piece that rotates. Now we're going to take a look at how it flies, and I'm also going to connect up my SJ cam underneath and take some aerial video.